Welcome back to the channel. Today's video is going to be such an easy build of a Virginia peanut can bird feeder. Anybody could make this. It's going to be an easy build. I'm going to go over it really fast, so not to put in too much detail, not to leave out too much detail, just right. These are the tools that I'm using. Let's get to it and let's build a unique Virginia peanut bird feeder. Okay, so what I have here is pneumatic hole puncher, but you know what? You could just go with an ordinary drill and just drill holes in here. And what I'm going to do is, well, you can see, I'm just going to go around here. Nothing fancy. I'll show you what it looks like when it's finished. Doesn't have to be perfect. And that's it. Just pop some holes in there. And what we're going to do next, we're going to drill a hole right through the center of the top. This is going to be the top. We're going to drill a hole through the top here. And then I'm going to drill two holes, 2 1/4 inches round on either side. I'll bring you back when that's done because you don't need to see that. Okay, we're back. So all I did was drill out the holes on both sides. And you can see on the bottom here, I ran the string through and just put some hot glue in there just to hold it down. And I took some sandpaper and sanded it all off here so it wasn't sharp and no sharp edges. I fed it through the cap. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to put some hot glue on the top, put the lid on, and at least this will be like a protective barrier so that the water doesn't sit on top and rust out the top either. And of course it'll waterproof this as well. So I'll bring you back when that's done, and I've attached the hook. Okay, so there we are right there. The hook's on. I put a little bit of glue on the knot up here so it'll never come off. You can see I put some glue under and I put some glue on top. So if there's any moisture at all, it's not going to sit here on the rope and rot the rope out. So now we got to move on to the underside. So let's go to the underside next, and I'll bring you back with it all ready to go and the reasoning behind it. Okay, so this is the last step before I put the seeds in. And you can see where I had all the holes before. Well, I just put some painter's tape underneath so that when I put the glue on, it just doesn't just pour right straight through. So all I did was just cut a piece of old screening that will just fit in here like this. And all I'm going to do is just take the hot glue gun and just in a couple of spots all the way around, I'll hold it down while it's hardening up, and then I'll move on to the next spot, and then I'll bring you back when all of this is, well, all hot glued up. Okay, so there it is. It's all dried up. It's on there. And if any moisture gets in here, it just goes right straight through. It holds the seeds. And that's it right here. Now that's a very simple project to do. It doesn't look, you know, like a real fancy one, right? But the birds love it. And stick around because I'm going to share some tips that maybe you don't know about when you're feeding birds. But I'm going to fill this up with seed and then we'll come right back. Okay, so let's take a look. And it's easy as that. Put some bird seed in there. I put about 3 cups in there at a time, and that's it. And I hang this up. Now, if you want to know some tips on feeding birds, I would say the best thing to do is to make sure you don't have any squirrels, because squirrels would just get into your seeds and spill them all over the ground. And next thing you know, you got rats and mice around all over the place. Because most people, you know what they do? Is they have one of these bird feeders or one of these, like a store-bought feeder like this, and they hang it close to a building, you know. And I don't care for this kind of a feeder during the winter time because the holes all get plugged up with snow and it becomes pretty much useless. So I only use this up until the snow starts to fly around Christmas time, and after that, well, it's pretty well useless because it just hardens up and fills up with snow and ice. So But if you hang this anywhere near your buildings or outbuildings, you know what? That's a real no-no. So if you want, I put a link down below and show you what I do at my place. So if you have any rats or mice around, I guarantee you most people do, is rats and mice. Take for instance, this is my house here, and over here is, you know, like another outbuilding. Well, if you just can go from your outbuilding to your house, or for like what I do from my garage to one of my outbuildings, and I run a cable, and that's what I show in the video below, is I run a cable and how to do it. And I have the feeders in the middle, about 15 feet away from any outbuildings, because rats and mice, you know what they do? They only go around close to your outbuildings and along the outside edges. They never go to the inside. And I've checked so many times underneath the feeders to see if there's anything there. Well, the only prints I see is from the squirrels, and they can't get to my cedar, my bird feeders, because it's up in the air, it's away, and they can't get to it. So if you can run a cable from one of your buildings back and forth and put it in the center, keep them away from your outbuildings, well, you have no problems with mice and rats, because they naturally stick to the outside edges and they go around your outbuildings or your house or anything. They won't go through the middle of your backyard and your lawn in the middle. They'll only stay around the outside edges. So one, I'll show you this one here. I built this a while ago, and this particular unit here is just another one, just so easy to hang up. This is all made out of wood. I showed how to make this on my channel before, and this is one of my favorites. And the same thing, it's got the screen on the bottom, and the only thing I added was this little tray over here, and I got peanut butter on one side and I got bacon fat on the other, and the birds love it. Now again, once the snow starts to fly, guess what happens? This all fills up with snow, hard as a rock, freezes, and it makes it pretty well useless. So that's when this comes in handy. So you got to have multiple bird feeders out there. So I'll show you the original design that I made. This is the first one, and you can see that it's pretty well weathered now, right? It's starting to rust. I don't have the lid on top. And it's very basic, and you know what? The birds love this. They completely love this. Now this is just an old V8 juice can, and this one here, like I showed you, is just a peanut can with Virginia peanuts in it from Costco, and it's a little bit bigger, and it's going to do the exact same thing. So I think all of you could make something like this if you wanted to. You don't have to go to the store and buy a store-bought one like this that I think, well, frankly, doesn't work once it starts to snow. Like I said before, it just fills up the holes here with snow. The sunlight comes down and hits this, freezes, and it all turns to ice. Now what I've noticed about these ones, yeah, you will get some snow in here, but guess what happens? Something I never realized when I made these was, yeah, you get some snow in here, but during the daylight, when the sunshine comes out, it heats up this can, and I can see the water melting from the bottom. And I thought, well, that is just a bonus right there. Where a system like this, when it fills up with snow and ice, well, the sunlight doesn't get in there to melt it, and it doesn't do nothing. It just turns into a block of ice. So thanks for joining me here today. If you haven't seen this channel before, you're welcome to subscribe and see some neat ideas on stuff that I do that you can do too. Cheers.